welcome back to the channel. Here we are for another movie review, and we have just finished watching the supposed final performance by Daniel Day-Lewis and a film directed by Paul Thomas Anderson called The Phantom Thread.
I'm sure y'all any Daniel Day-Lewis fans on the scope, Anderson fans on the scope, or Paul Thomas Anderson?
Well, both actually, both. Yeah,
both. Everyone knows There Will Be Blood. If you guys are fans, so could that be overdone? Could that be actually outplayed?
Same collaboration.
Outacted and same collaboration in a whole different, completely different setting and genre. It almost came close.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as good as There Will Be Blood, but it's a close second in my opinion. It comes up just alongside it. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the movie. I mean, I think the cinematography is great. It looks really old school. Look, it's about fashion designing, but I mean, for the movie, the fashion design for the movie itself and the set design and everything, just the old school, late 1800s, early Victorian era.
Yeah, very much so. They really got that in there, and they really nailed it.
Yeah.
There was no bullshit or bullet around. They weren't screwing around.
Acting was really spot on. Besides Daniel,
it was all acting. The other actresses, and they were just incredible. And I'm really not I was really impressed. And Daniel Day-Lewis,
of course, man.
The guy plays the biggest a-hole in the world. And I still come out liking him in the end, just like There Will Be Blood. I still liked him at the end.
Yeah.
And he's still the biggest a-hole in the world, but I still like him. I don't know, there's something about the guy's just the acting capabilities that you can see his stage training right there on the screen. I think that's a big part of it too. He was stage trained, so. Yeah, I just thought it was an exceptional. The one-liners and some of the poetic, the way this movie was
written.
The way this movie was written was like modern day Shakespeare.
It is. It very much is. Yeah.
Very much is. In a weird genre, right in between that, like Renaissance thing. That was pretty heavy duty, and it was a little long-winded, but it's not.
It kind of meant to be long for it. Kind of had to be long.
You needed that for all the characters to resolve, right?
Well, for everything to kind of be concluded, resolve and be concluded as it turned out to be in the end. You kind of had to go through all.
I thought she was a super biatch that was poisoning him. What's new about this? That happened all the time in history, right? I thought that was the whole deal. Then it just turned about I just want and come back strong. This is pretty good stuff here. This is like heavy duty, deep, like you would expect. Daniel Day doesn't tackle me, especially his last quote unquote last film that he's ever gonna do for Hollywood. Something to see. If you like him,
everybody should watch it just because of that alone. Even regardless of whether the movie's good or not. I mean, if it's Daniel Day's final performance,
exactly that alone. Right? But
it is a really good movie. It is,
and he pulls off a stellar performance.
Totally, yeah.
Stellar. And so does his backup actresses that are around him. They pull off stellar performances to themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd grade this movie as, I think I'd give this guy I'll give it an A. I'll give it an A. Not an A plus. I'll give it an A. I'd give that's 4 stars. That's really? 4 stars, yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it the same. For sure, just because just for the acting alone, just like typical Daniel Day-Lewis, if you look at the credits, the before credits, you realize this is a production that was done by a whole bunch of different money. It wasn't Hollywood money. He made sure he could do it himself and do it the way he wanted to do. I can see that in it. And if you can get over that, one of the best movies I've seen, period, in the last 10 years.
Thank you very much for watching. To the channel, we have just Finished off a day of shooting some other stuff that you'll see on YouTube as well. And to end the day off, we have decided to tap into a film review. And since it's getting near Halloween, around mid-October, early to mid-October, we thought it would be a good idea to delve into some spooky, scary kind of stuff. And so this movie that we watched was called Ex Machina. It came out a few years back, I think 2015 or something like that was the year it came out. That's what we just finished watching.
Yeah, pretty good acting performances by the main three.
Oscar Isaac, yeah, great actor. Great actor.
Pretty impressive performances by them all. It's what's the other kid's name?
The Domhnall Gleeson.
Yeah,
and Alicia Vikander.
Yeah, she was fantastic from the start. She took the show from the start, but they all developed pretty good. The set was sterile. It kind of reminded me like a Vegas hotel cross between a hospital and a Vegas hotel. Had a real sterile, weird feel to it, which is exactly what the movie was calling for, I think.
Yeah, I think it was actually a really interesting and cool blend between, like, I think they did it, whenever it showed, like, nature and, like, nature landscapes, it was sort of like, you don't think that, like, that technological facility kind of stuff meshes, like, that kind of cinematography would mesh with, like, you know, the bright lights, cell phone almost looking lights would mesh with the natural. But I found whenever they would show this kind of spooky, claustrophobic kind of, like cell phone screen everywhere kind of a facility, and then all of a sudden they'd show the nature. It was kind of an interesting little
just him saying that, it reminds me of The Shining. Big hotel, empty hotel kind of deal, and the fact that it was in the middle of nowhere in the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
And it had that little bit of a feel to it. Another movie I'd like to mention is, because the cyborg perfection of this film, is Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely some references there. To me, even though, there was definitely lots of AI kind of stuff tapped into in the Twilight Zone series, but to me, regardless of any direct references or not, the whole movie just kind of feels like a enlarged kind of movie version of a good Twilight Zone episode, in my opinion. You know, right? Yeah. I know there was the Twilight Zone movies and all that, but like this was just like one of those really, really spooky episodes, but just kind of made into a feature-length kind of movie, right?
It had a good entertainment quality to it. It was clever in certain different ways, and there was also some inconsistencies, and by no means it was perfect. Timing was off in a couple different places. I've noticed just unrealistic continuity. Timing was not right, but you can give or take it, right? You can fill it in, whether you know what I mean. I'm just a continuity police guy, so I just notice that stuff. You guys probably won't even notice it. Some of you will. Yeah,
well, it's flawed. It's flawed in the timing of certain things, but it's also quite on the ball as far as the timing for tension and horror and eerie spookiness and stuff.
Yeah, like horror usually has that ridiculous, silly parallel thing that happens. Like there's one point where Buddy gets knocked out, and then as soon as he wakes up, she walks in the room. As soon as she walks in the room, he wakes up. Now, what are the chances of that happening?
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, really? Come on, let's get real. Right? But those are the small little things that I notice, and I'm not saying it ruins the movie, but to me it does. It kind of bugs me a bit, but that's just me. All in all, it's pretty cool movie.
I don't know a whole lot. I mean, like you said, like the movie's really good, but it's by no means 100% perfect. But there's not a whole lot that I can think of to really complain about the movie. The only thing is it did kind of drag on a little bit near the end.
Like we probably, a guy could probably, or a person could probably tell that story in an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, no, but even just it's to me it seemed to flow fine. Like the length of the movie was fine but it could have just even just 10 minutes off the very end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was some unnecessary stuff there that dragged it on.
Yeah,
we're right when you're wanting it to resolve. It kind of
that's right.
Sometimes songs should just end. You know what I mean? Like sometimes movies should just end. Ending and resolve is a part of the art.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like we just talked about. I think, as far as scoring this movie goes, it's not it's not A plus. It's not 100% perfection, but I will give it an A because it's just a couple of notches below it, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, I give her a solid. I'm doing the star system. I give her a solid 3.5 for sure. Especially the genre. I'm so used to seeing crappy movies in this genre. This movie really kind of pulled it through. And I thought at first it was going to be great, and then I thought, oh shit, it's going to turn into shit. I love to see it. And then I thought, okay, no, it recovered. So I got to give it a solid 3.5 for sure.
Thank you very much for watching.